Hello and welcome to the session. Now let us actually see a demo just to have a look and feel how it executes and what are the different aspects. Now I have created a sample Maven based project. So group ID, artifact ID, you can change it as per your business requirement. And I'm using Maven compiler plugin with 1.8 version. Maven Surefire plugin to run a particular class or to run this JUnit class because this is a Maven and JUnit framework, and some common dependencies I have used it here. Okay, now basically it is running the it is basing a runner class here. This is a typical JUnit based runner class. I'll explain on this again. Now, main thing is to update the Excel file, which will be acting as an input to the automation framework. Now, I'll be executing this first test case. So I've enabled the test case yes, which basically login happy path, and I have disabled all other test cases. So if you see test case 3, test case 4, all test cases I have disabled. Again, what this test case is doing. So step number 1, it is going to a URL and it is doing an implicit wait. Step number 2, it is doing some operation, clicking on some element, verifying the element is displayed, and so basically it is doing a login action. So it will enter username, password, and click on sign in. Fine, and then it will do an implicit wait. Point to remember here, there is an element called as dummy. This dummy element. So from where these all elements are coming, these elements are coming from page object. So if you see from the login page, so I have sign in email, sign in password, button, sign in, and those things. But there is no element called as dummy. Okay, or page home also there is no element called as dummy. Now that's what is here. Page home underscore dummy. Page home underscore dummy. There is no dummy element, so that is to be noted. And as of now, if you see here, um, there is no report Excel here. There's no report sheet here. So what is going to happen once the test case gets executed? A new sheet will be created called as test report, and in that sheet the contents from the test case will be copied, and also the result column will be updated. It will be like pass fail, some green and red, that kind of thing. Fine. So one test case I'm executing. I need to save it and I will need to close it. That's it. And I will run this automation framework. So I'm running it as a JUnit for now. How to run it all and other things we will see separately. So let us just run it and see what is happening. So basically it will do a login. So it will go to that website and uh, try to attempt to log in with valid username, valid password. And also the last thing is it will interact with the element page home underscore dummy, which does not exist. Okay, so individual test steps are done. Now what is going to happen? It is going to attach this result Excel file in an email, and it will send that email. And unfortunately the test case is failed. Why? Because it is trying to interact with a element called as dummy, which does not exist. Okay, so once the test case is executed, then I will, so where is the report? So I will open the same Excel file here, and if you see, additional sheet is getting created, that is test report. And in the test report, first test case is executed. So if you see, the result is updated. So for every step, pass and fail is updated. But when you see the page dummy, that particular step has failed. Why? Because there is no element like this. So Selenium will not find that element. Now from where these elements are picked up, so if you see page home underscore button sign in, so that is coming from the page object. Page home underscore button sign in. This is the key and this is the value, right? So this is passed because it has clicked on that element, it has found it. You're able to click and do multiple action, but this particular test case has failed. This particular step has failed. Now, so what is the value addition in this modern approach? Is I have added pass fail status, and also you can see the exception here. So whatever exception you are getting while doing a particular action. So now you see there's an exception which is caught, which is easy for further troubleshooting. Now, not only the exception here, but if you see, there is a screenshot also attached. Okay, so in the Excel report itself, I can see a screenshot when at what particular step it has failed. And if you see, there is no element called as dummy here. So basically, this is the value addition in the report, that you can see the exception, you can see the screenshot at that particular time, right? So now the other test cases are not getting executed because those are marked as no, right? Now there's one more thing here. Now let me just close it. There's one more thing here. So which basically backup. So what is going to happen is uh, because of your because of your extensive Apache PI operation, you're reading the Excel, writing into Excel. It may so happen that your Excel file may get corrupted. Now, because of that, you will lose your test case also, and you will lose your report also. So in order to avoid that, I have added an additional functionality which will back up the Excel file before starting the execution. So what will happen? You will have your original test cases and all the data, and during the execution, if the Excel file is getting corrupted, then you anyway have a backup. So in the same folder, you will get a Excel file already created. It's basically a value addition. It will create a backup of the existing Excel file. Okay, now let us see one by one. So file handler and utility general. So in the file, in the utility general, so I have this ready-made functions which is waiting, on a certain, waiting for a certain time, implicit wait, and traditional thread.sleep. Now file handler. So in the file handler, obviously it will do file handling. So Excel processing, get test case IDs, Excel close, backup. So this is where the backup will happen, and process test case tags, right? So uh, every test case will have some tags, and when you want to execute the test case, so what I will do, I will pass on the parameters like this. So in the VM option, I am passing on environment as SIT and test priority as high. So these all matters while we are doing execution. So that is the tag. So I can pass a particular tag as a command line parameter also. So all the filters, all the test cases will be filtered based on the tag. Right. Now get test case IDs. Now what is this get test case IDs? So what is going to happen is, as we have seen that, let's say I will open this demo for example. So what is going to happen among all the test cases, which one is enabled, which one is disabled? So if any test case is disabled, then that test case should not be executed. So what this function does, get test case ID, it will go and it will check in the Excel if any test case is disabled. So only test cases which are enabled, that test case ID will be collected. Other test case ID will not be collected. Simple. Okay. Get test case in IDs. Yeah, this is one. Now let us come to this section. So this is the runner class. Okay, test runner class here. This is again a JUnit implementation. So this is uh, a runner class. What is done here is I'm using a parameterized class here because I want to pass on the data to this framework as a parameter. So which data I'm passing? I'm passing the data which I got from the Excel, but that should be parameterized. So what are the different things here? Let us see. Uh, yeah, I have this test framework KDD. I'm kind of a constructor here, and I'm using the test case ID, which is I'm getting, I'm assigning the test case ID here, temp to the actual test case ID. Now, why I have used the parameterized constructor here and called as a data supplier. So here, if you see, I'm using the Excel sheet processor get test case ID. That is what we have seen. So I want to run all the test cases which are enabled, right? I don't want to run the test cases which are disabled. So for that, I would need a test case ID to be executed. So that is what is coming from this parameterized dot parameter annotation. Parameterized will provide iteration related data, that is how many test cases to be executed, how many times this JUnit class to be executed to be run, and the test case IDs of individual test cases. So that is what is coming here, coming from this particular method. So what is going to happen is when I run this as a JUnit or even as a Maven, this will be called first, and this will get us all the test case IDs which we want to execute. Right now, this there is a um, clause here that I need to return it as an array list, which is basically a collection framework item. So that is what I have done as an array list. Okay, arrays as array list and an array of object. Now what is going to happen because of this, the particular test case ID will be assigned to this variable for every iteration, right? So if you see, let's say there are 5 test cases enabled and 3 are disabled. So I will get 5 times, every time I will get a fresh current test case ID here. This is important because this will happen in a loop. So what is going to happen is this one, this process test case ID. So this particular test case will be repeated number of times the length of this array. Okay, so what is the length of the this array is basically number of test cases which are enabled. Simple, right? So data supplier should be here. Now this before class and after class, and this before and this after is part of fixture. Okay, fixture processing. Now let us see what is happening here. In the before class, it runs the steps from the Excel. So it will run the Excel init part, and it will run the fixtures which are in the before all section. Similarly, in the after class, it will do the Excel processor, and it will do the something which is in the after all session. Right. So after all session is coming from the fixture part, before all and after all. Okay. Now before and after. Right. Fixture processor, after test and before test. So whatever is here, the before test and whatever is after test, that will be executed, that will be run. Right. And now finally the test case or every JUnit test will be run. Right. So this is the core test case execution. Now to this function, to this method, we are passing the test case ID which is enabled. So obviously the out of 10 test cases, let's say only 3 test cases are enabled. So this will run 3 times, and for every run, I would use the particular test case ID. Right. Okay. Now this is all about the running part. Now there are other things also. So fixture processor, yeah, that is pending. So runner class we have seen, utility class we have seen. Okay. Now remaining things we will see in the upcoming session. Thank you.